Finally, the section you've been waiting for, logarithms 4.3. We'll start with an introduction to it and then try to explain what they mean. Some of you may have used logs before. Most of you probably have not. Let's start with the first one. You read this by saying log base 3 of 9 equals 2. A good way to understand this is, how many 3's does it take to get a 9? We're not adding, we're multiplying. 3 times 3 is 9, so it took 2. How many 5's does it take to get 125? 5 times 5 is 25. 5 times 25 is 125. It took 3. So that would be read log base 5 of 125 equals 3. Now sometimes there will be letters in it, variables. And if you put all three of them in, that's just to explain how to change it to an exponent. Excuse me. So it would be log base b of c equals a. How many b's does it take in a? Well, we have no idea because we don't know what the numbers are. Now, logs and exponents are inverses to each other. And you need to learn how to change from one to the other. But before we do that, let's try and do this on the calculator. Get your calculator out. I'll give you just a minute. Okay, I went and got my calculator. Now, if you're using the Casio, there are several log buttons. The one we'll use the most is up here in the corner, log box box. The base goes in the small box, and the number you're getting the log of goes in the big box. There's another log button right here, LOG. And we'll talk about that one later, but that means base 10 because we use it a lot. And this also stands for log, and that's base E. And some people were asking where E was on the calculator. Here's plain E. We almost never use it because anytime we use E, we normally have an exponent. So you'd have to go shift LN, that will give you E. All right, so that's how we do it. So let's do log base 3 of 9 and see if you get a 2. Log. Turn it on. Log, put a 3, then hit the arrow and put a 9, and you should get 2. And you do. Now try doing the next problem. And you should get 3. If you can type. Which I can't do very well. I'll just clear. Log 5, 125. There, I got the 3. And you can't do the last one on your calculator. All right. Let's talk about how to change from a log to an exponent. This is your base. You have to know the base. Always find the base first. And it's always written smaller. It's called a subscript. It's small and down a little bit. Now these should all be equal on the same line, and the 3 is small. Just like I hear the small 5, and it's down a little bit. All right, to change to an exponent, you write. There's a couple ways to do it. I might do it slightly different than the book or the tutors would, but I know everybody can find the base, so I write the base first. Then you go over the equal sign and get the 2, because we're changing it to an exponent. So you take the 3, you go over and get the 2 and write it. And then you come back, and the only thing we haven't done is the 9, and you write a 9. Does 3 squared equal 9? That's the exponent. log base 3 of 9 equals 2. It's the same thing. We're saying how many 3's do we have? We have 2 3's, which gives us a 9. All right, see if you can change the next one to an exponent. The base is 5, but that's small here. When you write it down here, you write a regular size 5. Raised to the, go over the equal sign, 3. Equals, come back, the only thing we're missing is 125. Now notice the 3 and 9 are together. Your answer down here, not your answer, but when you rewrite it, they are not together. If the 3 and 9 are together down here, you made a mistake. 5 and 125 better not be on the same side of the equal sign. All right, change that one to a exponent. The base is b raised to the, yeah, don't put a c there. So it's got to be go over the equal sign a and come back. And the only thing we haven't written is the c. Now there can be more things in the problem. It could be 5 to the x plus 6 equals 100. So that would be log base 5, because we know our base has an exponent. Now what comes next? Well, we've got to go over the equal sign, so it's 100. And then we got to come back, and what's the only thing we haven't written yet? X plus 6. It is so important that you can go from log to exponent. Now, I'm going to come over here and go the other direction now. I'm going to give you a problem like this. Log base 3 of 9 equals 2. I want to change that to an exponent. Find the base. Well, your base is always going to be small down here, and write the base, except write it a regular 3. Raised to the, go over the equal sign, raised to the 2 equals, the only thing left is a 9. The 3 and 9 together here, they better not be together down here. They got to be on different sides. Actually, this problem's the same as that one. All right. Let's do this one down here. Change it to a, it's a log right now. It's changed to an exponent. So what's our base? Oh, here it is, 5. Raised to the x plus 6 equals, the only thing we haven't used is 100, which is what we started with up there. Okay, there's several problems that you need to practice. They are on page 387. Numbers 9 to 24. You don't even have to write anything down. This is for speed, but speed with accuracy. So go to this page and start with number 9 and skip 10. Just do the ones odd so you can check the answer and have your hand back there. And look at the problem, say the answer. If you want to write it down, you can. Then look in the back and see if you got it right. You need to go through that whole column, and you'll start to get pretty good at logs. You have to practice them. This is the most important thing probably, if you can switch from log to exponent or from exponent to log. So go on ahead and practice those, and I'll have another video up that we'll start using logs.